What's up, Timonics, and welcome to the question of this video: what is Ionic? There was lately a little outcry since Ionic wasn't included in the recent Stack Overflow survey, and that got me thinking, what is Ionic? Because I think for especially beginners, it's hard to describe where Ionic starts and where it ends, and maybe even for experienced developers, it's not completely clear. And you should definitely know about the different packages and the different things that are included in the Ionic ecosystem, how they work together, and how they are actually different tools. So could you describe what Ionic is right now in just a few sentences? How are Cordova and Capacitor related to Ionic? And what about the Ionic CLI and the JavaScript framework that you're using with Ionic? And then there's Stencil, another Ionic project, and then we got Ionic Native and Ionicons, and at some point we also got AppFlow and Auth Connect, Secure Storage, Identity Vault. There are a bunch of Ionic services. They are all somehow related, but you need to know about the differences between all of them and how they fit together in the grand scheme of the Ionic ecosystem. In this video, I will try to explain exactly what all those different Ionic components and building blocks are, how they interact together with my epic skills to paint something, and so you should hopefully understand after this video exactly what Ionic is and what it is not. The whole idea for this video came after recently Max Lynch posted Ionic isn't Cordova anymore, because people still think that Ionic is basically Cordova or Angular, and in the Stack Overflow survey recently it wasn't even mentioned, although other tools like React Native or Cordova or Flutter were mentioned. So let's try and figure out what Ionic is. At its core, Ionic is an open source mobile UI toolkit for building high quality cross-platform native and web app experiences. So we can reduce this. It's actually an open source mobile UI toolkit for building cross-platform applications. That is the core. But then we also have to distinguish between Ionic framework and the Ionic company. So I thought we could make a little drawing. I hope this drawing thing works. I've never done this before. Let's start. We got Ionic up here. And the only thing related to Ionic is actually the UI and the CLI. That is basically the Ionic framework itself. It is part of the Ionic component. Ionic components are things that we use: the card, the tab bar, the list, other components. All of these components are actually built with Stencil. Stencil is another tool from the Ionic framework, or from the Ionic company, not from the Ionic framework. I already go wrong with this one as well. So Stencil is used to create them. You can also use Stencil on your own. It's a great tool that a lot of companies are using to build design systems, as you can just create web components in your whole design system and use it in other projects. It's basically a bit like lit elements. So that is Ionic, CLI, and UI. Once you got Ionic, you put some kind of JavaScript framework on top of it. That is usually something like Angular, Vue, React, or plain JS. We're not gonna put this into the list. I think you know this. And these JavaScript frameworks make use of the components. You can use whatever you want of them. It doesn't really matter. They all have different packages. So if you're using, for example, Angular, you will have an add Ionic / Angular. That's horrible what I type here. And if you're using React or Vue, you got add Ionic Vue or add Ionic React. That looks so horrible that I will actually remove it, as it destroys my whole awesome graphic that we are painting. Another project that's part of this ecosystem that we should mention is definitely the Ionicons. So Ionicons are also, just like Ionic components, a package that you can install. So they are not really part of the Ionic framework itself. You can just install it. You could also use it in other projects, and it allows you to have these adaptive icons per platform. So Ionic itself has adaptive components, and Ionicons are basically adaptive icons that look different on iOS or Android. With this stack, you won't get far because you're not really accessing any native technologies like the camera, and also you're not really able to build a native application for iOS or Android. At this point, we have to throw in something else. Let me pick another color from this one. So what we need at this step is something to put our application into a native container, and that is where either no, I don't want to use red for this one. This is where we got either Capacitor or come on please, this is where we either got Capacitor. Can I actually put my hand on the device? That would make drawing a lot easier. I can. Or Cordova. These tools itself are not really related to the Ionic framework. Capacitor can be used standalone without using Ionic. You could just drop Capacitor into your project, into your Angular, React, or whatever project. And you could also use Cordova to wrap other applications. These are just the building tools to build basically the left-hand side that we got here into a native container. What these tools both do on different kind of ways is accessing the native iOS or Android SDK in different ways. We're not going to talk about the differences. Just let us say Capacitor and Cordova both know how to access certain native functionalities. Now, we got another package that is called Ionic Native. Where does Ionic Native fit into this grand scheme of things? Ionic Native itself doesn't give you access to native functionalities. I was confused by this in the beginning as well, but Ionic Native is just a TypeScript wrapper around Cordova plugins. So I'm gonna put Ionic Native down here because you can throw in Ionic Native or you can access it, install the packages, but what you also need at the same time is a Cordova plugin. So Ionic Native just makes it a bit easier to work with certain Cordova plugins. That's actually the whole idea of Ionic Native. And yes, you can also use Ionic Native with Capacitor. I'm not going to draw a line from there. You're just going to throw it in here. That is a basic setup that we got. Now from Capacitor or Cordova, what we can do in the end is, of course, building a mobile application. That is the whole idea here. So once you use one of these tools, you will be able to build an application that runs on your phone and also on your well, for Cordova not all the time, better with Capacitor, but usually it's a web application wrapped inside a container, and at this point you could go the native route as well. That is the grand scheme that we got. Now we got a few other things that we should plug into this. You might have heard about Ionic Enterprise, or especially the Ionic products. If you check out the Ionic products, you will see Ionic, Capacitor, and Stencil. These are part of the Ionic company, not the Ionic framework. That's why it's also just as this one. But then we got also additional plugins for enterprise customers, which are Auth Connect, Secure Storage, and Identity Vault. Those are completely optional things. That means if you're an enterprise customer, you could plug this into your application. I'm gonna put this here. We got identity, we got storage, and we got Auth Connect. And most likely there will be more of these in the future. And you can plug them in with Angular, React, Vue, doesn't really matter. It's completely up to you. And once again, those are completely optional. They can make your life easier, but you don't really have to use them. Okay, I think the last missing piece that we got is AppFlow, which is another service by Ionic, perhaps towards enterprise customers, but basically everyone could get this. Do we have a color that we haven't used before? We got blue, green, perhaps something like orange. Where does app flow come in? Well, that's kind of hard to say. I would put app flow kind of in here because app flow is a tool to support your DevOps. App flow. With app flow, you can make cloud builds. So you can create your Capacitor or Cordova application and let it build. Oh, I forgot this one, app flow. You can make your build in the cloud. You can push code to AppFlow. It will automatically build. You got hot code push to iOS and Android, so you can have app updates without going through the App Store. All of these services are bundled in AppFlow. I don't know if Ionic still runs the Ionic Creator. Last time checking it out, it was for an old version. So I'm not gonna put the Ionic Creator into this image. But overall, I think we got most of the services in here. This is now basically the whole Ionic ecosystem as we got it. Not everything in here is actually part of Ionic as a company. Especially, of course, Cordova is not a part of Ionic. The native SDKs, Ionic isn't really part of that. And as well, the Angular and Vue and React core JS frameworks are not part of Ionic. These are just their own projects. The only thing in terms of these are what I mentioned before, add Ionic Angular, add Ionic Vue, or add Ionic React, specific packages related to the Ionic framework. Also, there's another enterprise support, I think, for Ionic native plugins. So at some point you might be able to get enterprise support, since usually Cordova plugins are maintained by the community, and if you're an enterprise customer, that is perhaps not the best way to build a stable application if something goes wrong. So they also offer enterprise support for some of the Ionic native plugins as far as I know. But overall, this is our Ionic ecosystem. All right, and that's it for today. As a little recap, Ionic itself provides beautiful adaptive UI components, and they provide a lot of tooling around these items to create apps that basically run everywhere the web runs, powered by HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. You can get started with Ionic and you preferred JavaScript framework, Angular, Vue, React, or vanilla JavaScript these days. And you could also just drop in Capacitor into an existing React or Angular or any other application to build from that application a native iOS, Android application or progressive web app, even without the Ionic components. For my part, I offer special help for everyone using Ionic Angular within the Ionic Academy. You can go check it out. There are 60+ courses, templates, a community to answer all your questions, and that is exactly the field where I provide my tutorials, videos, and all the support for. And last but not least, I really want to make this clear. Ionic makes people happy, basically the whole Ionic system. And you see tweets like this all over the place again and again. This is not just one person saying this. I've seen this countless times. People just enjoy working with Ionic. That was basically the reason why I started with Ionic. You could get started, you write a bit of web development stuff, HTML, CSS, and then somehow your solution works for iOS and Android. And that was just amazing, and it continues to make people happy. And this is not just about Ionic, of course. This could also be said about Capacitor, but Ionic simply offers those great components that make the app really look native on all the platforms. I hope this video gave you a good overview about the whole Ionic ecosystem, and you now clearly understand what Ionic is and what it is not. So the next time somebody comes to you and asks what Ionic actually is, I hope you can provide a clear answer in just a few sentences. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the videos to spread the good message about Ionic, and I will catch you next week like always. So happy coding, Simon.